There are 7 ingredients I used to eat all the time without questioning them. And honestly, I didn't stop eating them because I thought it was toxic or that one ingredient was going to ruin my health for long term. Stop because when I started to learn about reading labels and beginning the anti-inflammatory diet, I realized how often these ingredients were showing up in the everyday foods that I would pick up from the grocery store. After making these changes, my entire approach to food has changed. So today I'm sharing the 7 ingredients that I have removed completely from my diet, what I have replaced them with, and what I've learned so far on this journey. Hi, my name is Kiatatyana. If you're new here, I make wellness, health, personal, and lifestyle content. Over here, we're choosing to take care of our bodies from the inside and out. So if you're interested in this type of content, make sure you hit the like button, comment down below which part of this video have stood out to you, and join the community by clicking subscribe. Okay, before I begin, I feel like I have to say, you do not have to completely eliminate these ingredients or these foods. This is what I choose to do based on my own goals and what I have learned. And I'll explain the reasoning behind each one. Let's get started. So the first thing that I have removed out of my diet is refined/enriched flour. You will see this first ingredient in so many different foods. It's in bread, it's in crackers, it's in tortillas, it's in certain pastas, baked goods, packaged snacks, and so many foods you don't necessarily think of flour being the main ingredient. So when I started seeing things that says refined or enriched flour, that was the #1 red flag that I was not picking up that product. The reason this is important to me is because refined flour or refined carbohydrates are one of the food categories that are commonly more associated with a pro-inflammatory dietary pattern. This is not saying all carbohydrates are bad, nor should you be afraid of eating bread. Instead, I have sourdough bread. But I'm saying I personally want my carbohydrates to come from foods that are close to or at their original form. That gives you more fiber and nutrients and not stripped. So instead, I eat more whole food carbohydrates, either gluten-free food options, so oat flour, buckwheat flour, almond flour, sourdough bread. And honestly, experimenting with all these different type of flours have caused me to become a little bit more creative in the kitchen. The next thing that I completely removed out of my diet is added sugar. And this is not your usual sugar-free pickup at the grocery store. I used to be that person too. No, we're completely removing refined sugar from our diet. Anything that has an ingredient list that says sugar and not sweetened with maple syrup or date sugar, or date syrup, or coconut sugar, I completely stay away from. Sugars are in condiments, dressings, granola, cereals, flavored drinks, even packaged snacks. And I started realizing if I'm not intentionally looking at what I'm picking up to eat each day, I can be consuming sugar all day long. Now, I need to make something very clear. I'm not talking about naturally occurring sugar in something like fruit or sweet potato. I'm talking about added sugar, added white refined sugar and brown sugar into foods and drinks. So instead, I started making my own sweets and desserts and drinks at home and sweeten those things with maple syrup or coconut sugar or even dates. But I also have to say, sugar is still sugar, and sometimes your body still recognizes even maple syrup as sugar that you see on the market. So in order to keep your blood sugar at a really great place, still limit how much you're eating maple syrup. Learn from me. Okay, the next thing that I have completely removed from my diet is hydrogenated, industrially produced trans fat oils. So, you know, your vegetable oil, your rapeseed oil, your grapeseed oil, canola oil, Crisco, all these industrially produced oils is a no-go in this house. That's a non-negotiable, complete non-negotiable. And this was the #1 thing why I started to tell people to read their ingredients before purchasing at the grocery store. Don't look at the front of the package that says low fat, healthy, organic, natural, made with whole grains. Those be the same things in the back that has a whole list of ingredients and oils that would increase inflammation in your body. Always flip your package over and see what's behind there. The next thing that I completely removed is high fructose corn syrup or corn syrup in general. We know high fructose corn syrup can show up in absolutely anything. And before somebody get up in my comments, I'm not saying high fructose corn syrup is more inflammatory than every other form of sugar. But again, the #1 thing is how much sugar is showing up in those drinks or snacks with high fructose corn syrup. So again, it goes back to why we're eating this much sweetness in general. The next thing I completely removed from my diet once beginning this anti-inflammatory lifestyle is additives and emulsifiers. Anything that has more thickening agents, no ma'am, no ham, no Sam. Number 5, this one is a little bit different because I'm not talking about anything in specific. I'm just talking about more ultra processed foods that has additives in there, especially in more packaged foods. So things like emulsifiers and stabilizers are things that I became a little bit more aware of. And I want to be very careful because I don't want to tell you that every food with additives in there is something that you should completely stay away from. If I just realized that there's so many other ways to make your product thick or stay together with the natural ingredients, so things like tapioca starch. So in a grocery store, I just started to make a little bit of a comparison. Do I want things in my body that has a huge list of additives, or do I want recognizable whole food ingredients? And it'll always be whole foods ingredients. Okay, so going back to the industrial processed oils, I would always choose avocado oil, extra virgin olive oil, and these two are the companies that I stand by and I purchase week after week. And this last one is probably the biggest one of all. The ingredients that kept me reaching for more ultra processed foods. And I know that's not technically one ingredient, but hear me out. When I started this journey, I was focused on whole food ingredients and individual ingredients. But eventually I realized that the bigger picture was more important. If something had a combination of refined flour, seed oils, added sugar, highly processed fat, tons of additives, less fiber, less nutrients, I really started asking myself, is that something that I want to eat? And if that's something I want to feed my family? And this alone changed my grocery shopping moving forward. I became so much more intentional in the grocery store. I don't just pick up things by how they look up front. I started shopping more the perimeter of the store. I used to hear that all the time. In the middle of the aisles is where you get the processed foods, and the perimeter of the store is where you get all the whole food ingredients. And yeah, they're starting to do things to our whole foods, but that's a story for another day. But in all, I've been learning to be more creative in the kitchen. I've been cooking more, making things from scratch. I was becoming unhealthy in my mind, stressing over what exactly I'm eating. So instead, my question that I always ask myself is, does this food support the way that I want to feel and live? So these different ingredient categories are things that I have completely removed out of my lifestyle the last 10 months. So let's go over it one more time. Number 1 is refined flour and Number one is refined flour and enriched flour. Number 2 is added sugar. Number 3 is industrial trans fat and hydrogenated oils. Number 4 is highly refined sweeteners like corn syrup. Number 5 is additives and emulsifiers in my food. Number 6 is certain refined cooking oils that I have completely removed. And number 7 is a combination of added ingredients that had me craving processed foods. But if there's one thing that I want you to take away from this video, you do not have to change your diet overnight. Please hear me. The first thing I want you to do is become educated with reading your ingredients. That would be your best friend. You need to know this for yourself. You need to know exactly what you're putting in your body at all times. Then start making those swaps that fit right for you. That's what this journey has been for me. Not being perfect, is becoming more intentional about me. And honestly, 10 months into this journey, I still have so many different things that I'm still learning too. So if you're trying to eat more anti-inflammatory, lose weight, improve your relationship with food, or just feel better in your body, subscribe. I'm documenting the whole journey here. And if you want to see everything that I purchased on the anti-inflammatory diet, click this video because that's where you can really see how different my grocery cart looks now. And tell me in the comments, what's one ingredient you stopped buying once you started paying attention to food ingredient labels? I want to know because I'm always looking for new swaps too. Okay, I love y'all and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.